So, but whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all end in oneness and in love. We're grateful that each of you is here with us today. And so our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. We start with our receptivity statement that you'll see on the screen if you would read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. Our musician today is Rod Loomis. With his dramatic acting, singing, and spiritual background, Rod has chosen some perfect songs to welcome spring with lots of joy so we can be happy together. It's my pleasure to welcome this morning's musician live from Sacramento, Rod Loomis.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be on full screen, yes. This song I love. It's called In This Very Room. And I think of it as a meditation. So I invite you to just open your hearts, your souls, and take in this wonderful, wonderful song. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, God's spirit, is in this very room. In this very room. This very room. And so it is.
Of the Spirit. And so this leads us into our practitioner of the day, who is Nancy O'Neill. And Nancy is coming us today live from sunny and warm Arizona, where the temperatures are expected to be in the 90s today. But she and her husband Tom will be coming home soon to Tahoe to cool off, and because most of the snow has melted from our bike paths, right? So we're grateful that Nancy is joining us today to share her loving and wise practitioner consciousness. Please help me welcome Nancy O'Neill to provide our special reading and our invocation.
Thank you, Pam. So today we're concluding this month's theme, Living Everyday Wonder, Spirit at Play. And today's talk is entitled, So Happy Together. But the reading today is from Ernest Holmes, of course, and it's from Creative Mind, a metaphysical classic. And it's called Be Happy. How can we hope to make the world see the right way unless we overflow with joy? The world has now too many sad faces. We see them everywhere. That resigned look that seems to say, one rebuff more or less makes no difference. I'm already so sad that nothing matters. I can bear it. This was all right when we thought everything was all wrong, but now we know that all's well with the world. We must get over this depression which robs us of the power of attraction of the good things of life and enter in. The man who is always glad will surround himself with people who are happy, and life will be a continual enjoyment. This robs no one. It does not make a race of irresponsible people. It makes a world of joy, a world that is good to live in. No one wants to associate with the dead. People are looking for a more abundant expression of life, not for depression and fault finding. Find fault with no one. And more than this, find no fault with yourself. Get over the thought of condemning people and things. People and things are all right. Let them alone and enjoy life. Your very atmosphere will cheer and uplift the people who contact you, and a new life will enter into them. Overflow. So if you'll just join me in an opening prayer. So just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just get centered where you are. And as we come together, just knowing all that God is, all the peace and love, joy, happiness, all the power, and all that life that we love, all that life which gives us so much as we give into it. And we align ourselves with that. We align ourselves with that goodness, that higher power that we know, that just seemingly joy that we can tap into at any time with our creative mind. And so just in knowing that the service today is unfolding perfectly, unfolding with music, with a message, with love and service for those that are with each other in person and those of us who are with each other through our computers. And so in great gratitude for that, for the ability to travel over these miles and to see everyone, and just to see everyone who's sitting there in the sanctuary, and just knowing that it's all good, it's all God. And so in knowing that, I just let this word go as we say together, and so it is. So now we'll have another song from Rod, our fabulous musician.
Oh, thank you, dear one. You know, a good way to feel good is to tune into nature. So join me as I tune into nature. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Yeah, feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm feeling good. Yippee skippy. Thank you.
Yeah, feeling good. There's so many things that are going on today that are, it's spring and last Sunday, March 20th was the equinox and now it's spring. The days are getting longer, the temperatures are getting warmer, and it's time to get out and play. And there's a lot of things going on in the world in Ukraine and there's 70 places around the world where there's violence and we have sadness in our own families. But there's still that joy, that divine joy of just being alive that cannot be suppressed. With the song "Feeling Good," it was originally came from the show, "The Smell of the Greasepaint and Greasepaint and the Roar of the Crowd, 1964. But Nina Simone really made it her own, right? River running free, blossom on a tree, feeling good, right? So it was definitely spring in the garden at my house this weekend. We had 3 Stella Jays that were flying around, I think deciding how to pair up. One of them I saw off looking for a nest somewhere. The chickmunks were just enjoying basking in the sun, and the first daffodils were in bloom. So it was a really gorgeous day. And so God is playing with all of those beautiful colors and the new life, right? God is at play, right? Now, spring is a time when people like to play together. You know, we are so happy together, which is our topic for today. Nancy and her family are bicycling together, and Michael, his son Jed and his wife are visiting us today. They hiked at Eagle Falls yesterday, and although there was too much snow to make it all the way up, but they still, without snowshoes, they still got to enjoy the falls and really get in touch with that nature again. Jed had a lot of memories from his childhood of that spot. And how many of you have been out walking in the sunshine this week? You know, at least once. You know, it's just gorgeous out there, right? So joy that we feel is an expression of that divine within. Charles Schaeffer was an American psychologist who was known as the father of play therapy, and he said, "We are never more fully alive, more completely ourselves, or more deeply engrossed in anything than we are playing." Right? When we play, we open up and we give people a glance into our heart because we're fully present. We let go of any masks that we use to disguise ourselves, right? We let go of those filters that restrict our actions to those orderly and dignified ways. You know what? When I was 12 years old, I have a picture of myself. It was Easter. I had this green and kind of flowered green dress, whatever. And I'm sitting on the porch, and I have my dress perfectly laid out in a whole half circle. And my knees are together, my hands are together, and I am the oldest looking I have ever looked in my entire life. I really wanted to be grown up, right? So, but when we play, we express the freedom, the creativity, and the joy of our authentic selves, of our divine nature, who we truly are. Now, there's something called a 30-second dance button. And so for $26, you can push a button that looks like there's one that used to say easy. Well, this one's yellow, bright yellow. And so it'll play 5 different 30-second songs for a spontaneous dance party. And so for 30 seconds, you're supposed to dance like crazy, right? And they have the new motions now of hip hop and so forth. But you set the buttons up in your office, and then watch people who are walking around. And suddenly, this guy comes up in his tie, and you see on the internet they walk up in their tie, and they see the button, they go, oh, 30-second dance button. And so for 30 seconds, and then they straighten up and walk up, right? So, in the junior high math teacher, they can suddenly become the teacher of the year. All they need is a 30-second dance button. And so when the students get that glazed over look, bong, off they go. And the students are all up, right? So, but hearing about it isn't nearly as much fun as playing together ourselves. So I don't have a 30-second dance button, but I have something that's just as good or maybe better for Science of Mind people. And so I'd like everyone to stand up, whether you're at home or you're here, and make sure you have some space around you if you're close to someone. And so are you ready? All right, everybody ready? Okay, Savannah, hit it.
I'm so grateful I'm alive. 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 Oh yeah.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Floyd Lula. Gary Lynn Floyd and Jamie Lula I'm so grateful I'm alive. That's one of their songs. That was the kickoff song when they had a song release, and that was the recording from when they were in person. The American Dance Movement Foundation is taking this idea even further with a National Day of Dance. So every year in September, I think it's about the 5th or 6th year now, they have the National Day of Dance. And so last year, they had 2 choreographers that normally work for pop singer Ariana Grande, and they put together a dance routine, and then they put together about a 30-minute training video so people could learn how to do the video. And so then on the National Day of Dance, everyone around the country films themselves doing this routine, wherever they are. And they put them up on the website. And then they also have 2 special outdoor flash dance mobs. So one of them is at the Kennedy Center in New York, and the other one is at the Segerstrom Center for the Performing Arts in Orange County, where Michael and I live. They have this great, beautiful, big plaza. And so it's a great thing that they're doing. They're planning it again for 2022. So I don't know if our center wants to do that or not, but it might be kind of fun. But dancing is a wonderful way to express joy and play together, right? Dancing together changes relationships, and it builds community. So, but before we can play together, we have to be willing to come out and play, right? That's a prerequisite. So, Ernest Holmes, in the book A New Design for Living, he said, the present moment can never provide us with more joy than we are able to embody, right? So it's up to us to open up our heart, right? And in Disney's movie Frozen, there's a song, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? If you remember that song. And Anna, it starts at age 5, and she knocks on the door of her sister's bedroom trying to convince Elsa to come out and play, but to no avail. And she tries again when she's 9 and when she's 15, and Elsa just is in her room. You know, when anything she touches turns to ice. So Anna's left alone in that vast castle, having to entertain herself, and her only playmates are the characters in the paintings, right? So when we come out to play, we have to let our inner child out and be vulnerable, right? In return, we open ourselves to that opportunity to be happy and to share that happiness, our joy, with others, and they with us. So in the reading from this morning, Be Happy, Ernest Holmes, he was one of the things that characterized him is that he was a very happy man. And when you walked into the room, he just warmed up the room. You just felt good. And because he really lived in that space of wholeness, of letting the divine spirit, the light, shine through him, right? And so he's in that reading, he said, the person who is always glad will surround themselves with people who are happy, and life will be a continual enjoyment. And he goes on to say, your very atmosphere will cheer and uplift the people who contact you, and a new life will enter into them. Overflow. Let that divine spirit overflow, because it's full to overflowing, because it's infinite, right? Now, let me get some water here. You know, by playing together, we create an opportunity to build relationships that have meaning and joy. The joy of being alive, reveal the joyful God, right? Now, when we share life's cherished moments together, it's weddings, you know, birth of a baby, graduations of all kinds, and all these wonderful things happening. We don't like to be alone. We like to share our joy with other people, and it brings us together. You know, we don't have to wait for special occasions, though, to play together. Play is a sacred act, really, a spiritual practice that serves us all. Sharing joyful time together as we allow our inner child to come out and play not is only healing for our own heart and soul, but it allows us to create happy, meaningful, and loving relationships that sustain healthy communities. Once forged through playful, happy times, these great relationships, these strong, loving, affirming relationships are there when the difficult times hit. And then we seek to move creatively through those challenges with kindness, with understanding and flexibility. We know each other when we're strong, and we make it safe to feel vulnerable, right? Play is a component of healthy living. As children, we play all the time, right? We grow up and think we're too dignified until that 30-second dance button goes off, right? But that, playtime was much more sacred than we ever knew at the time when we were children. In Winnie the Pooh, A. Milne, great author, I loved this book as a kid, still do, we didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun. Right? In the book Help for Today, Ernest Holmes says, if we feel, then, that we are simple onlookers and not participants in the game of life, we should rediscover the youthful spirit of that childlike joy, which gives us the energy, happiness, security, and faith we had as children. Right? It reconnects us with that place within. And so we have this safety, that we have with our friends. And a lot of these childhood friends that we create, they stay with us our whole lives. That longevity of a relationship. And so we give each other, that joy. And when something happens, the joy and the laughter, sometimes the play, gives us that place to heal something that happens. We're not the same people we were. My parents used to reinvent their marriage every 10 years because they were different people. And so they would renegotiate who did what, right? And so, and I know with Michael and I, we're going to have our 15th anniversary being together in May 1st. And so, and we're not the same people. And so we have to renegotiate. And it's something that we cherish, because it does bring so much joy, right? And with our families, this is our pathway to reconnect with that playing together and fun. And, and family game night is a wonderful thing that you can do. There's so many cooperative games now. When I was a kid, we were all kids, it was always all of these games that were very competitive, and Monopoly was one that was really competitive. And I can remember when we were playing with my sister and I and my parents, and my mom went bankrupt. And my sister was about 5 or 6 out of 7, somewhere in there. But she was just so distraught that she was just crying, and she went to her room, and so when they brought her back in, somehow she had sold some houses, or somebody gave her some money. I don't know what happened, but she was back in the game, and my sister was okay, and we could play. And then when I was an adult and I was married to my first husband, and I was really pretty good at playing Monopoly and the strategy and so forth. Well, he was very good too, and he never lost until he met me. And so he would normally, but he was very intimidating when you would play with him. And so you kind of, you wouldn't necessarily think as well as you normally would, right? So one time I decided that I was going to be steely, and whatever happened, I was prepared. And so I stared him down, and I won. We never played it again. He refused. Right? So, but knowing all of this that happens, they now have these great cooperative games. You can interact. There's some that you interact physically, and then there's cooperative games that you can actually purchase that are board games now. And a lot of them come out of Europe. Europe, and they started being popular after World War II, when they had all of this antagonism that they wanted to get over. They needed to heal it. The PTSD. They didn't want to be at war with each other and play Risk. They wanted some. In these cooperative games, you have to have everybody playing from the start to the end, because you do things like solve a mystery together, or just you kick out the ghosts out of your house, or there's one about Harry Potter, and all the different students get together to fight off whatever it is that they need to do. So it's really about coming together and healing. You can get quick ones for younger kids, or or if people just drop in, or you can get some longer ones that'll take a whole weekend to get through, right? So it's something, a different way of being. And so it comes back to learning to play together, but also making that space just to be together, to make it okay to just be, right? When we play together collectively as a center, it builds a sense of community for our center, for our spiritual community, right? Of belonging together. And that's an important part of a spiritual community. I mean, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to about being back together in the sanctuary is that Zoom is much better than just talking to someone on the phone. But that feeling of being together is so much more powerful when we're in person. When you get those little subtle cues of the smile and a hug. You know, I mean, hug is, virtual hugs are kind of okay, but and seeing someone be able to laugh and smile. But to be in person, to be real, to be present is an important part of it. And so when we play together, we can also be creative together, right? And so when we play, we hold each other differently. There's a feeling that we can all be part of the same team. We're moving together to implement our common vision with love and with joy, right? We become a deeper form of family. You know, our vision for our center is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one, right? And so that's a very empowering thing to do together. It's one thing to do it by yourself in your personal spiritual practice, but meditating together in a room is so much more powerful. It goes so much deeper, right? And so that desire to build community rather than division is one reason that we're moving together. You know, it was the way the UN was created in the first place. I read something yesterday that when the Cold War ended in 1991, this has been the longest period without really serious worldwide conflicts in the history of humans. Before, there was always some kind of war going on. And now, I think one reason we're so distraught about what's going on in Ukraine is because it's stopped that trend. You know, we thought with the UN we were going to be able to live together in peace, and economically we're so interwoven as a world economy that the idea that someone would start invading someone because they want, this is my country, not yours. Well, no. I mean, we're built on sharing and mutual trust and cooperation. And so this is why everyone has been praying so ardently for peace in Ukraine. So there's a wonderful dance team that came together that's an example of this cooperative play that they can do together. And it's a team called Hip Operation Dance Team. They have 26 seniors. They live on an island called Waiheke Island off of Auckland, New Zealand. And their ages 67 to 95. Average age 80. All right? So they're senior center. They was kind of glum, and there was a few life sparks, but mostly just glum, and kind of a lot of aches and not moving too much and so forth. And they had a new person come into the center, Joanna, as the activities director. And she had an idea. What if we tried a little hip hop? So some of them were doing it in their chairs, and some of them were standing up and whatever. And they didn't do the same movements that a 20-year-old would do, but they were starting to get into it, and so they really liked it, and they had a passion for living and coming. Their attendance increased. They wanted to be there every day, right? And their lives transformed as they exercised together, and they got over their stage fright. Some of them, and some of them had been dancers since they were young, and they got back into it. They got their old costumes out of the, and it was really bringing the whole thing together. Well, they worked really hard at it, and Joanna applied for them to be in the national hip hop competition in Las Vegas, and they got accepted. So in August of 2013, there's this great movie that's been made about how they practiced and went together, how the lives were transformed, and what they did to get to Las Vegas and to save up the money and donations that came in and so forth. And so when they performed, everybody was kind of snickering and stuff in the back. But when they got through dancing, they got a standing ovation because they were good, right? They were, I forget. I have the movie, so we could watch it some night. But I'm bad, I'm bad kind of thing. And they, and they looked like hip hop dancers the way they were dressed and everything in their iridescent green and socks and all that kind of stuff. So it was something that made a difference. But they did it together as a community, and that's what made it so special. They were playing, and so they were very much alive. And so here at CSL Tahoe-Truckee, this is something that we can do. And we have lots of things that we would like to do to play. I mean, last summer, the Smoke had some ideas, and we had some good things planned. So this year, we are going to go kayaking, I'm sure, right? And we're going to have a drum circle in June. And we've got some great classes and events that are going to come. And so we can play together. We are a joyful community. Life is good. Right? And we intend to live it together. So this week, with a sacred wonder of joy and love in your heart, explore the ways that you can share a life of play with your loved ones. Find a partner to dance with. Or dance by yourself, right? With a mirror. Go hiking or bicycling in the spring sunshine. Laugh at silly jokes. And carry this energy into our entire spiritual community. Let's play and be the gateway into greater, deeper relationships. Let's take this to prayer. So as we turn within, we remember that God is joy. That deep bliss that is always there underneath the surface. And as we dive deep into that joy, we let ourselves go and let God embrace us and love us and let that joy come out. It is spring. We see God at play everywhere. In the color of the birds, of the flowers, of the lake, of the green in the pine trees and the deciduous trees as they start to come back. There is new life. New life. All around us. And it's like a reawakening within ourselves. We allow that divine joy to spring forth from within us and let it overflow into the world. We share it with our loved ones, with our friends. We play together and grow closer. The family ties are strengthened and reinforced, and yet are loose enough to give us space to be ourselves and to be whole. To go through those tough times and know that we are there to be embraced. Our family, our loved ones, are there to hold us dearly. And then we come out and joy together, and maybe next time we are the one that is embracing someone who is in sadness. But it is that joy that is always there, fueling it, that divine love that is always present. And this is also true of our spiritual center, the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee. Joy, play, bring us closer together as a family so that we can open up to be all that God has intended to us to be. We are grateful to be alive, to be filled with joy. We are so grateful to play together, to build happy and healthy and joyful relationships. We are grateful to be here for each other and for our spiritual community. We are ready to move into the future in person, safely, as we fulfill our mission to manifest our vision, embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the One. Life is fantastic. Life is full of joy. In joy we play together. We are happy together. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And as we let go and let God, it is unfolding right now. And so it is. And so we let it be. All right. So Rod has another song that will also bring you some joy. And I think if he, this would be a good song if he were the emperor, and he could heal a lot of things, including Ukraine, if this was the right, if he was if he was ruling the world. So let me welcome Rod Loomis.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. So again, carrying on what Pam just said, what if you went to bed one night and you went to sleep and you had this incredible dream? The sound is not together. And you had this incredible dream that you were the ruler of the world. You had this incredible dream. And you thought you were the ruler of the world. And what would that do for you? What kind of a ruler would you be? So let's explore that. If I ruled the world, every day would be the first day of spring. Every heart would have a new song to sing, and we'd sing of the joy every morning would bring. If I ruled the world, every man would be as free as a bird. Every voice would be a voice to be heard. Take my word, we would treasure each day that occurred. My world would be a beautiful place where we would weave such wonderful dreams. My world would wear a smile on its face, like the man in the moon has when the moon beams. If I ruled the world, every man would say the world was his friend. There'd be happiness that no man could end. No, my friends, not if I ruled the world. Every head would be held up high. There'd be sunshine in everyone's sky. If the day ever dawned when I ruled the world, when I ruled the
One thing I love about Rod is on his answering machine, he says, whatever the question is, the answer is love. And that's really who Rod is. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rod.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So we come now to our prosperity time. And at CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source, and for our center and for each of us as individuals. And so your donations to the center are your opportunity for you to be a part of carrying out our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. And we want to support spiritual transformation in our world by sharing the Science of Mind spiritual principles and experiences of love, wholeness, and joy. So we're most grateful for your donations and your continuing commitment to our center. So please hold your offering over your heart and repeat with me our prosperity affirmation. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me blessed and multiplied. Penny, could you do that? We need the, here we go. No, we're ready for the offertory song? There we go. Just one verse.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Great. All right. And so, with gratitude, we accept these gifts and offerings, knowing that it is all from the infinite source of God. God supports us with love, with generosity, with joy, with peace, and we share it with the world with generosity and joy and peace. All is well, all is God, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Okay, so I want to welcome everyone that's here this morning. We have some people that I know. Heidi's here. She hasn't been here for a while, so welcome, Heidi. And on online, I don't know if we have any new people, but if you're online and you're new, if you'd like to sign up today, we have some visitor cards over here. If you're not getting our newsletter right now, you can get on that on that list, or you can fill it in on the chat or go on our website, which is a great place for that. So we're glad. Thank Savannah and Michael for being our AV host team today. Right after service, we'll have our hospitality time, and you can join us all in the hospitality area or on Zoom if you would like to talk to someone. I think we're going to try and set a microphone up so it'll be easier to talk to people too somewhere. And you can find the announcements in the Zoom link back on the. There we go. This is where I'm supposed to be. You can find the announcements in the Zoom links and the Constant Contact email newsletter, the Instagram page, Facebook page, and our web page. So we're really getting into the 21st century now. And the video recordings of our Sunday services and a shortened version with just the minister's talker are uploaded most days, most weeks by Monday. And last week we had a little bit of a problem if you were on Zoom. It didn't have all of Colleen's fabulous videos that she did on Peace Rise. And so Savannah was able to splice in the original, so now you can watch it online and see the whole thing. And it's really worth watching watching it again if you've already seen it. Right. Also now we're on our website. This is our new website, so you can check that out. Lots of good information there. And our next Sunday service, April 3rd, will be in person and on Zoom. We're starting with April's CSL theme, Everyday Wonder, creativity this month. So that should be a lot of fun. The talk is entitled Say Yes to the Yes. I will be here along with Jared and Namaste as the musicians. Their group is Love Eternal. And Practitioner Carol Delbon.
Really excited to talk about our spring cleanup this year. We have a leaf blower now. A few of us have leaf blowers, so we're going to come over and blow all the things to the side, and then we can just all pick it up. So I really encourage you, especially this year, to come out and help us with, you know, like 6, 7 people. It goes so quickly, and we have fun, and you can bring snacks or water, whatever. And this year especially, we are having our Sunday Easter egg hunt. So we need everything cleaned up out there because that's where we hide the eggs. So please come and help us make our center beautiful. Thanks.
Oh, it's on Saturday, April 9th. And there were some couple of people that had to work in the morning, so we're going to do it in the afternoon. And then the next Saturday is when we have the Easter egg hunt. So we want to be all ready. So we're hoping that the snow is going to finish melting by then. So that'll be good. Now, peace in Ukraine is an issue. Many of CSL members are committed to praying for peace in Ukraine and in our own hearts, and this is throughout the world. And so we have quite a few opportunities for you to do that, meaningful activities to meditate on peace. And so yesterday, there was an event called Songs of Peace for Ukraine, and So Am I Worthy sponsored 2 hours of Songs for Peace event. And so there were 5 women that performed their music, their original music, and 2 of our regular musicians, Kalina Kiko and Angelica Shakefer, were some of the performers. So, I also gave a hopeful visualization for peace. So you can watch the recording on the So Am I Worthy website, and on their Facebook page is where it's located. And our center donated our tithe this month towards that fundraiser, towards the International Rescue Committee. Human Rights Watch was the other one that they're sponsoring. And so you could also make a donation, which will go directly to Ukraine through that organization. So another one, that there's an annual season for nonviolence that ends April 3rd. And so our spiritual leader, Dr. Edward Villion, gets up at 6 a.m. every morning, Pacific time, and leads a 10, 15-minute devotional, which includes praying for peace, because there are 70 locations around the world where there is violence occurring, not just in Ukraine. So that's a wonderful time to get together, and you can watch it later in the day. My preference, and it's on the Facebook page, and and then a final option for peace in Ukraine is there's a daily Zoom meeting to create a spiritual chain reaction for peace. That's one of Ernest Holmes's favorite ideas, by meditating on inner peace for 10 minutes and sending it out into the world. And so this real-time event is worldwide, and it's sponsored by CSL Geneva. But the link is, they've changed the link. So this link is actually on the CSL Santa Rosa website. So the one that's in the newsletters is old, so this is the right one. And so you can look at there, but CSL Santa Rosa, you can click right on it. And so there's, and Reverend Beth Natalie Linguri is the minister there. And so there was about 52 people there yesterday. So, all right, our next CSL certified class is the Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment. And this is an 8-week class from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. They've updated the curriculum, and so they're really doing a really good job of putting a lot of things that are in there, updating it, making it really useful. So people don't like the 3-hour classes. They've shortened it to 2 hours. It's 8 weeks instead of 10, and so it's but it's going to be a really great time, and you can attend in person or on Zoom. This is going to be a great fun event. Save the date for May 22nd. It's a Sunday. Melissa and Z are going to be here. They'll be doing the music and the inspirational message for the Sunday service, and then there will be a workshop in the afternoon called Truth and Love Communication. It's based on the work of Dr. John Sarno. And it's about healing, using our spiritual mind treatment, our attitudes about healing in our bodies, with dealing with pain or whatever you're dealing with. And so that's truth and communication, truth and love, communicating with our body and with each other. All right, and so we have also our ongoing classes, which are drop-in classes. Links are provided in the newsletter. So we have Tai Chi on Thursdays with Cris Worcester, 3:30. At 4:30, you can switch over and do the energization exercises, and then meditation at 5 with Mary McEnany and Penny Scholler. And then on Friday nights, it's the Course of Love, led by Sue Pipel. So feel free to drop into any of those classes. And those are all based on a love donation. Now, we talked about the Easter egg hunt, and it's coming up on Saturday, April 16th, 1:30 to 3:30. We're asking everyone to sign up their children or grandchildren in advance, so we make sure that we've got enough eggs and craft activities that we've got planned. So it should be a lot of fun, and the sign up is on Eventbrite. You can go up on the website, and it'll take you over to Eventbrite to sign up. There's no charge, but we just want to know how many people are coming. And so this is also our time when we want to welcome our children. They're not here with us today, whatever they're doing on a Sunday morning, but we want to bless them because they are part of our community. And so if you would repeat with me, we see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God, and so it is. Right? Okay, and the final announcement is about our practitioners. They are the heart and soul of our center. We know that prayer works, and these practitioners have studied hard to become a practitioner, and they maintain that consciousness. We'll say on the affirmation first. There we go. And they maintain their consciousness, and they love to pray, and we know that prayer works. And so if you need prayer, if something is going on in your life, please ask for prayer here in the sanctuary, and also someone can be online. So Nancy O'Neill was the practitioner of the day online. Carol Dalbon is there. Here in the sanctuary, Michael Brandman is a practitioner, and I'm also a practitioner. So we'd love to pray with you. Okay, now we're going to have our affirmation, followed by the peace song. So if we would all stand, and I think we're getting big enough, we can do a circle. Can we hold hands now? Is it? So you'll have to do a virtual. Put your hands up as if you're holding hands on Zoom, and repeat with me. I am joyful in my community. And so it is. All right. All right. We're ready for Cris Law. There we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begin with me. Let this be the moments now. With every step I take, let this be my joy